Hi, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
We are in Park City, Utah.
Up on the roof in the freezing cold and the howling wind
Actually,
and the nearby traffic noise.
We're on a little balcony.
Yes.
And it's not that cold, really, but I am.
It's cold enough for me.
Yeah, I guess us wimpy Californians, it's a little cold. But we're here on a little mastermind retreat, working on our different projects. I'm working on, Angus and I recorded an intensive with a couple for a podcast. And so my job is to edit the recording so that it can turn into the podcast, basically.
Oh, well, I'm not talking about mine because mine's top secret.
Oh, Angus is top secret. All right. Should I have not shared mine?
Oh, that's up to you.
Okay. Anyway, I've got my work cut out of me. I think there's at least, it's the intensive plus follow-up session, so I think there's at least 26 hours of recordings I'm going through. But anyway, I'm enjoying it. But one of the themes that has come up for both of us, and for me especially, re-listening to the intensive, but also you've been saying it's been coming up in your work all the time, is this idea of psychological innocence, how every single one of us is always doing the best that we can at every single moment. And that when we see that for ourselves, when we see that for other people, it just kind of eliminates judgment from the equation.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I feel like I'm a scratched record at the moment with every client and every training that we do. I feel that it always boils down to that. All roads lead to Rome, in a sense. I feel like if someone, so let's for argument's sake, if we're working with a couple and someone is in a really difficult place with how their partner is showing up, they're caught up in their judgment and they're making them responsible for their suffering. And so it's always a case of trying to find a way for them to see their partner's psychological innocence. That's the point of relief. That's the point where I feel like things start, things to get back on an even keel. But it's just, for me, it always goes in that direction, particularly in relationship work, maybe in any work in a sense. It's like, because the opportunity is also to see our own psychological innocence too.
Yeah.
We're all just a sum total of all the experiences that we've had in our lives and the thoughts that we've collated along the way. And if we want to make judgments about how people have collated those thoughts and how they show up in the world, really, we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot and making them responsible for our well-being. Yeah.
And it really points to how when we see someone's psychological innocence or our own, what it does is a big truck going by. What it does...
It's mountain country.
I think we're on a freeway or something.
It's not that bad.
What it does is it helps us see that where the real pain and suffering comes from. It comes from the blame and the judgment that we're holding inside of us, and that when that goes, we actually feel the relief of that. We feel the freedom in that. And that what you're pointing to is that, yes, we have all of our conditioning, all of our conditioned thinking, but that isn't who we are. And so when we're seeing someone in their innocence, seeing them doing the best they can, we're actually able to see beyond all of their conditioning and see to their true nature, see to the essence of who they are. And whether we do that for another person, whether we're looking in that direction for ourselves, there's so much more lightness and freedom in that. And ultimately, that's who we are. We aren't our conditioning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when it comes to our essential nature, that's the field that we all come from. That's the source. There is no judgment there. And if we set that as our compass point, then really it becomes so much easier. I don't know how easy it is, but at least if we have that reference point, we can look in the direction of psychological innocence from that point of view, from that vantage point.
And I think it's helpful to know when we're not looking in that direction. And, like you're saying, you'll be working with someone and they're complaining about their partner and they're looking for their partner to change and be different, thinking that's what they need to happen in order to feel better, in order for them not to suffer. But what they're not realizing is that the opportunity is to look to what is universal, to look to what is beyond conditioning, to look to the natural state of love that is the essence of every single one of us, therefore it has to be the natural state of any relationship, because all relationship is two people together in it.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. Really, you don't need to say more than that. It's awesome.
Well, thanks those who joined us. It's great to see you. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy, and sending you lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.